recently Gail had shared an article, "Your newsletter won't make money and why you should start one anyway."
Mhm.
Um,
That
I
seminar,
signed up for that.
that seminar is this afternoon, I think.
is that this afternoon? Okay, I thought it was tomorrow. Okay,
I think it's, I don't know. I sign up for stuff. I usually watch the replay though.
yeah, well, and that's more convenient. But I just was curious, kind of thinking about newsletters now that Lewis has shared a lot about kind of some of his approach. You know, I'm just curious, kind of what your take is on perspective on. Are you excited about newsletters? Are you like dreading, like, oh, I should just do this, I don't want to? Are you a skeptic of newsletters, or are you seeing that they have a certain role to play? I guess
I've been trying to look at this from the newsletters that I'm subscribed to. One of them I get is from Gail Carriger,
Mm-hmm.
and she's very much. I don't know if you're familiar with her parasol protector.
Yes.
You know, she writes her newsletter very much in that chirpy kind of style that she writes her books in, and um, she kind of talks about what she's doing, and she talks about when her books are coming out, and she used to have her character Lord Alkadama, or however you say that. She had a blurb from him in her newsletters, which she's quit doing, but those were really cute, and I like that. But now that it's mostly about, I got a new book coming out, and the audio, you can buy it from me or you can get it from whatever, and the audio book will be out later and all this, and it's like, well, that's nice to know, but you've written me way too much newsletter for, what you put in a paragraph is all you've actually got in here. So it's like, if I want to do something, then I want it to be entertaining. I mean, I used to do the newsletter for Sherman College, and it was way too long because I went around and asked everybody, all right, what kind of what do you got going on this month? Because nobody ever told anybody anything.
Yeah.
So it was way too long, and to be honest, I hated doing it, but that was part of my job, so that's what I did, and that's kind of how I feel about doing a newsletter now. What can I do that somebody might enjoy getting from me that might be somehow entertaining, other than I've got this new book out, or here it's on sale this month, or whatever, because most of the ones that I get, that's what it is. You can get a 50% off discount, or here's another free ebook, or here's um, I don't know what to put in it. And doing it is not, well, now that I'm not going to be using MailChimp anymore, hopefully doing it is not going to be the excruciating pain in the neck, and I do mean that literally. That because MailChimp used to be simple to use, and now it's not. They've tarted it up. I hate drag and drop interfaces anyway. Let me just write what I want to write and get out of my way. Get off my grass.
Yeah, I like when you mentioned the Gail Carriger having one of her characters have a blurb in her newsletter. To me, that's kind of a brilliant idea in some ways. I mean, I would sign up just to see that, because I just find that I didn't realize that was the case, and that's again, you talked about entertaining. That is a different spin than the typical author newsletter, which is just like, as you said, oh, here are my books coming up, go buy my books. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's one of the questions one should ask oneself, like, what is going to be your unique spin, or at least, unusual, uncommon spin that you're going to put on it. And I don't see that with a lot of newsletters. To me, even newsletters that are actually relatively successful, I don't necessarily, like, for every maybe 50 I get, I read like 2 of them. Like Hope Clark, which I've been signed up to her newsletter for ages and ages, and I plan to continue that way. But I have to say, for every probably like 100 newsletters she sends out, I probably read, 2 or 3 of them.
I think I unsubscribed from that years ago. I don't remember why. The name sounds familiar, but it's like, and even Lydia Shearer's stuff about her witch and wizard and the cat, which is cute and all.
Yeah.
And I bought her books because they were on sale, and I like them. And but how many free books can I give away when I'm having trouble writing the ones I'm writing now? I did finally finish Bernice. Yes.
Oh, nice!
It's a lousy ending, but it's better than. And then they all died. So.
I'll have to write a review for that one
Yeah.
when I get to the end of it then. Because
Yeah.
I know you had trouble writing that one. Not to go off on a tangent, but the fact that, she was really struggling as a prisoner and you were kind of feeling like you'd written yourself maybe into a corner. I don't know, maybe I'm overstating it, but
I broke myself into the basement and it was locked. And the main problem I was having was giving her some agency. There was all kind of ways to rescue her, but nothing that she could do.
Mhm.
And I still felt like she didn't have enough agency. And to go back, if I ever publish this as a book, I'll have to go back and revise some of it because I don't want her to be a damsel in distress.
Are you touching on something though that would be perfect for maybe your newsletter? Because like if your newsletter was literally you kind of venting about the challenges and frustrations of writing your different stories and books, that could be maybe cathartic, but also kind of entertaining for someone else to read and see what you went through and what kinds of struggles you achieved or overcame.
That's a thought. That is a thought.
Because I'm just not a fan of doing a newsletter that's a ton of extra work outside of writing, if I
Big
can
on
help
that.
it. And so if it could somehow, if I could just, you know, integrate the newsletter as just part of my writing process. So like after I'm done writing for the day, I get out my frustrations in the newsletter and vent about what went wrong and everything, and then throw some humor into it.
Yep.
That may be a way to crack the code. I don't know.
That's a thought. I was watching a watercolor video. This guy, I'll have to send you one of them because he's fun to watch, even if you're not interested in watercolor. And you get to see what he's doing rather than just him running his mouth. He was struggling with the demonstration he was doing, and he didn't like it. It was like, this is just not working, and he still recorded it, and I thought, and some of what he did I thought was very, very beautiful, and I wanted to do. Some of the rest of it really didn't work, and it was like it's good, and he was using a very loose style, which is very much away from what I do. And I thought, if he can put this online, and maybe that's something I could do. I have thought about. I've got enough pictures of my artwork and whatnot that I could send out a picture or a photograph with every one that I send out, especially if I'm only doing one a month.
Yeah.
Here's the painting of the month, and enjoy. It's not like they're copyrighted. Well, they're technically copyrighted, but if they're online, they're not. Technically speaking,
For work too. So yeah.
I also think that starting with one a month is maybe ideal, especially if you're new to it, because I can't tell you how many newsletters I've subscribed to, and then I get annoyed because I get sent too many, and then I unsubscribe and
Yep.
don't look at that again.
Mhm.
Like if you're gonna make an error, I would rather err on the side of don't sending them out frequently enough, because you can always slowly boost your
Right.
frequency as you get better at it. Whereas if you start off too often, you're gonna lose that person for good. They're gonna get annoyed. So, but I mean, like I think maybe Hope Clark actually. Okay, so she's probably a good example of that. And Charlotte, maybe why you unsubscribe, because I want to say sometimes she'll send it'll be like one every other day or one every 2 or 3 days. And for me, like one a week is about my speed. It's not like I think sometimes people forget, or authors maybe forget, that your readers probably not only subscribed, your newsletter is not the only newsletter they're subscribed to. So, how are
Mm-hmm.
they going to have time to read 2 or 3 a week if they're already got maybe 3 or 4 other newsletters? So yeah, I don't know. Like
And I've
that's
subscribed to a lot of stuff. Of course, every time you buy something, I buy stuff online all the time, and you know, I go through and delete 50, 60, 70 emails from each of my email addresses every single day
Yep.
wow.
that I don't even think about reading
Mhm.
Yeah.
because it's too much trouble to go through and unsubscribe to each one of them. I can delete them a lot faster than that. And at one time, occasionally they have something that I want to read, but it's very rare, and I mean, everything from, I don't know, National Geographic sends me stuff sometimes, and the people that I bought bulbs from, here's more flowers. I bought some wood from somebody one time. Here's some more stuff we got on sale this month. It's like I'm not buying anything right now, so but I might want to sometime. You
Yeah.
know? So I go through and delete and delete and delete and delete.
I think there's a there's a couple special tools that will let you sort of mass unsubscribe from stuff. There's one that's called like an Unroll Me or Unenroll Me. I haven't used it in years, but there's good stuff out there. And Gail, how about you as far as newsletters go? So you're good about signing up for what I like about your approach is it's like you have a scattershot approach. You'll sign up for lots of different things, and then you'll find out about things that might pass other people by, which is really cool. So do you have a philosophy for how you sign up for newsletters, or maybe philosophy is too strong a term, but an approach to that?
Basically, if I'm interested in something and there's a newsletter about it, I'll subscribe. And of course, a lot of times that's writing, science, it's different genres of writing. But for personal newsletters, because as we've all been thinking about that lately, it is basically a commercial for your work, right?
Yep.
Right.
It is a commercial and you want to get eyes on it. So I'm struggling with the email list. Who do I send this to?
Well, exactly. And how do you get people to sign up for it? I mean, I've got an email list of about 150 people that, as near as I can tell, I stick marketing stuff in my Artemat stuff that they can get the Red Stilettos short story. So I assume that's why they signed up. They wanted a free short story.
Okay.
And they don't get many they don't get many emails from me because I don't do very many of them, but
That is cool though that you've sort of leveraged your Artemat to integrate your stories with that and do that little free story. I mean, that's a cool idea.
You know who had that idea? My friend Janice. My friend Janice knows how to run an online business.
She does.
It was her
now,
idea.
she's the one with the marketing background too, like with the extensive.
No, this is. We had lunch yesterday. Me and Jerry and Gail and Janice. Janice ran a business. She ran a reading clinic for a while, but she did a backyard plant nursery where she would propagate plants and sell these little baby plants to people online, and she shipped them all over the country. Wow. And did that until about 4 years ago, she tripped and fell and shattered her shoulder. You have to understand, Janice is 83. And she had a long recovery. She's now living in a senior housing, not assisted living, but in a small apartment where she just can't do all that kind of stuff anymore. But she's always run various businesses. I mean, that's just been the way and very ground level, back to the land kind of stuff. She was telling us about some of their survivalist stuff that they did back in the day. And she's actually writing a book about that, which I've been helping her with a little bit. Oh, and Gail, good news.
Yes.
I told you her hard drive crashed.
Yeah.
They were able to get her files back.
Good.
They installed a new version of Windows, which got around the bad sector of Windows 7 that she was using. I don't know which one they put on it, but the hard drive lived long enough that she could download all the stuff she had written, because she's writing a book about her life and all the stuff that she's done as back to the land kind of stuff. How to use castor oil as a medicine, both on your skin and when you use it and when you don't use it, and how to use elderberries and how to use all these.
Uh-oh. We lost her.
Oh no, she froze.
I think that might be it. Oh.
Subsistence farm, no electricity. I mean, well, for a while, and then they eventually got all that stuff. But she's a fascinating person, and she's writing all this stuff down, and she has a mailing list of people who, one, bought her plants, and two, people on Facebook that are interested in off the grid living. So she's got an audience for that.
It's really cool. And not only an audience, it sounds like it's a dedicated audience, a passionate audience too.
Yeah. That's the problem that we fiction writers have, is finding passionate audiences. And of course, since we like to write different stuff, you have to have an audience for this and an audience for that. And I was reading a fellow this morning about a lady she's talking about her voyage in learning to write erotica, and she said she had to have a lot of different pen names because her male readers were not interested in her lesbian lactation readers. It was like, yeah, I can see that would not appeal to the
Not
same
a lot of
kind of
cross
reader.
pollination there, is there?
Not a whole lot, no. And I didn't spend any money on that when I read the first three, and it's like I'm going to have to read this just to see. And she's talking about I'm a normal person. She quit doing the Girl Scouts because she was afraid they'd find out what she does to make her money. So she's got a real good sense of humor. So I may have to read some more of that, but See, I'm making up for Lewis. I'm running my mouth
I was
today.
gonna say you
Good.
represented today. That's for sure.
Maybe
Absolutely.
I'm
Oh,
not scared of being on camera because I can't see me. I can only see you.
there you go. Then whatever helps you be fearless, go with that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like I said, I don't like the way I look, but I'm not willing to do anything about it. So
Well, actually, I mean, actually, Charlotte, your voice is very conducive to interviewing. Like comes across as strong, and I don't know. I think
Mhm.
you've got a great voice for interviews. So,
oh well, thank you.
and that's the most important part. And to be honest, I mean,
Well,
so.
I'm full of myself. What can I say?
All right. Well, that's good.
Just
We'll wrap up that first video.